Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Josh, and if you're new to this channel, I just like to discuss different topics related to Christianity and either like what I'm going through in my personal life or just different things I'm seeing. So thanks for being here. As you can tell by the title, I'm discussing why are so many young people leaving the church. Now, I consider myself in that young adults group, right? Young people. And I can say just from my own personal experience that when I first started really dedicating my life to God and going to church more consistently, I tried reaching out to the different community groups that were a part of my church. And I did find that it was very hard to break through. That was my first thing. Because a lot of people who were already there had already been there for a very long time. And when I mean a very long time, I'm talking about like 10 plus years. Like these guys are now, and girls are now like my age, 28 years old. Bit younger, some are younger, some are older. There's also like floaters outside of that. Like there's some 18, 19-year-olds. But majority of people are around 25, I'd say. And a lot of them had grown up together in the church. So like they went to the youth groups together, then they moved up to the young adults. And so like they started going when they were like 5, 6, 7. So it's hard to break into, basically they were just like a bunch of cliques, like a bunch of groups, you know, smaller groups. And I'm the type of personality that I go up to people. So when I don't know anybody, I'm like, oh, hey, like, how are you? Like, I'm new here, like, just trying to check out, like, what's going on here and, like, introduce myself. And people were open, like, but I did notice that a lot of people after the first, like little introduction, it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go kind of talk to my friends, like the people that they have been talking to the entire time. So I kind of felt that, you know, like as soon as that happened, it was like, oh, okay, like, that's okay, like whatever, like they're not, I didn't take it personally. But then after a few times like this happening, like I go back week after week, month after month, and I would start to get a feel for it and what people didn't want to talk to me, what people were a bit more open. It did really feel like it was hard to break into this group. And it kind of comes to a point where you're like, it all feels hypocritical, you know, because in my mind, I was thinking that, you know, this is going to be like a Christian group. So it's going to be, everyone's going to be more open spiritually, you know, maybe more emotionally as well, more vulnerable, talkative. And that wasn't the case. And I've slowly started to realize and just remind myself that people are people. It doesn't matter where you go, people are people. We all create ideas of what certain types of people are supposed to be like, whether that doctors, police officers, you know, emergency people, Christians, Muslims, whatever nationality, race, or ethnicity or job you have. We create an idea of what these people are like, what the majority of them are like. And it's only once you start to immerse yourself in it that you go, oh yeah, that's right, people are just people. So meaning when I say that, I mean there's good people, there's really open people, there's really cruel people, there's also hypocritical people. You know, you get the good and the bad with everything, with every group of people. And everyone's on their own journey. So it's also giving each other grace as well. I'm not perfect either. But I guess it's just, it feels hypocritical when it's like everyone's doing this like in church, you know, like sometimes even the people that I had bad experiences with would stand up and say things that, you know, oh, I always share my faith, that I'm very open with everybody. And I'm like, well, you just literally told me you don't want anything to do with me like 2 seconds ago. And I'm not even exaggerating. I had that happen to me where a guy was like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you. And I was like, oh, okay. And then 2 seconds later, he's talking about something with the person and telling everybody how amazing he is. And I know it's just a one-off experience, but I mean, I experienced it. And I guess it's kind of happened because I haven't really been going very often, because there's only so much I can take. But I didn't leave the church, you know. You have to be able to separate the people from God, you know. And sometimes the church, the entire church, maybe doesn't have the right message for what you're searching for. So then you have to find another church, you know. And I'm kind of at that stage now where I'm looking for maybe another church or another group to attend. I think also too, when people are looking to get into their faith and they're struggling and they're really needing that sense of community. You know, they're looking for people to welcome them in. They're looking for, people are always craving connection. And that's how I think we find connection, is finding connection through people to God, you know? It's a way for people to really dive deeper into their scripture. And I mean, that's kind of how I started to get more into it, was like when I would go to these young adults meetings and stuff, I would find that, okay, like I was struggling with trying to talk to people, like break into these groups, because everyone was so already in their set groups and their friends and everything. So I would just be like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to focus on the message. I'm just going to focus on, because maybe that's why, maybe I'm not Christian enough, you know? Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't really know scripture off the top of my head. I don't know all these things. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to start reading more. I'm going to start paying attention to what we're talking about in the groups and really trying to dive deep into my faith and ask God for help with this and pray about this more. You know, I was trying to really immerse myself. And I think it did work to a degree, because I feel like God was telling me that, you know, maybe this isn't the right group for you. You know, you need to be in are surrounded by a different set of people. And then I joined another group, and I joined the men's group, and I had a bit of a better experience with that. But again, it stopped for the summertime, so I'm waiting for the winter for it to start back up again. But I think the reason why young people are leaving is just, people are, especially with younger kids, I think, I mean, as we all know, going back to high school was such a struggle trying to fit in, finding where you are, finding out who you are, and everyone just wants to fit in. Everyone wants to be a part of a group. Everyone wants to fit in somewhere. And then when you're going to some place where it's supposed to be very open and welcoming, and then it's not, it's a real letdown. And that's what I think people start to fall away from Christianity or the church. And it's interesting because I've heard that Gen Z, I've seen statistics that Gen Z is actually way more open spiritually. Now, they're open spiritually to different things. It doesn't necessarily mean Christianity. Could be anything. Catholicism could just be like the New Age stuff, could be anything. Which is good. I guess they're open to something, and hopefully they're able to find the path through Jesus, right? And I just pray over those people and pray for those people that they would, you know, have an awakening and have a coming to Jesus, and that he would be able to reach them and really open their eyes to his love for them, you know? But I guess, like, I've also got, like, question too, like, if people have ever felt, you know, that feeling of that maybe they were younger or they were struggling in their church, and maybe what they did or their experiences. Like, I'm really curious to know if anyone has had those kinds of experiences. Maybe what would make you want to return, you know? If something were to change, what would make you want to return to church and really dive into God's love for you and what he can do for you, you know, and how much he can change your life. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful or informative or took something away from it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.